Alright, welcome everyone to another episode of Will's Talk. I'm Will, your host for the day, and just wanted to kind of give you a little update. So, last night I went and saw Captain America Civil War. Great movie. If you have a chance to see it, I'd definitely go see it. Otherwise, no more spoilers from me. But this got me thinking about 3D glasses. Happen to have a pair right here. So I went to the IMAX version of 3D. So there's two different 3Ds out there, IMAX and Real D. I went to the IMAX version. But I was wondering how these glasses actually work. I kind of knew the basic theory behind it, but I really didn't know as much as I thought I did. So I went online, did a little bit of research, and thought I'd make a video so I could tell you guys. So first, let me start off by saying how we as human beings see 3D. The only way we can see 3D is by contrast. So we have two eyes. We have two eyes for a reason. Left eye sees slightly to the left, right eye sees slightly to the right. So you close one eye, close the other, your perception will shift slightly. This allows you to see contrast, this allows you to see depth, and allows you to really, allows your brain to stitch the two images together and really give you that grasp on that third dimension that you're looking for. Movies, or the film industry, does this about approximately the same way. They have two digital cameras looking out that are side by side from each other, and then they film all the action from those two digital cameras, so you have the same perception as the left eye, right eye contrast. So there's two major players in the cinema 3D world right now. There's Real D and IMAX, as I was saying before. Real D is the new guys on the block. They're an American company. They started in 2003. Their first film was Chicken Little. It came out in 2005. IMAX, on the other hand, y'all know about IMAX. Those are the ones with the giant 3-story screen, big old dome, and you usually see nature documentaries on them. Well, now they're kind of moved into the Hollywood market slightly with their 3D films. They use the same technology as they do on those big old screens, but they kind of condense it down a little bit so that more and more people can enjoy them without all the real estate. They've been around since about 1986. But that is the major players in cinema. 3D technology really goes below that a little bit. At the World's Fair in 1950, I believe, they actually had a version of 3D there. This was the first version that I've found, at least in my limited research that I've done, where they really tried to market this to the public. And basically you had a red and cyan anaglyph type display, and you should all remember those from your kids with the whole spy vision or the night vision kits or whatever you get. Is the nice cardboard glasses went over your head, had one red film, had one blue film or cyan film. Basically what these would do is these would filter out just the red light or filter out just the blue light, so you would see two different images. But they would film it about the same way that they film movies nowadays. They'd have two cameras, one with the red filter, one with the blue filter, and they'd film whatever they're looking at simultaneously, and that gave you the 3D effect. They would take these films in post-production, mash them together, throw them through a projector, and you would see two images slightly different from each other, and there's your 3D effect right there. The problem with this is, because you have a red filter and a blue filter, you really can only see those two colors. You start meshing together, you can turn your head slightly, start seeing some greens, some purples in there, but for the most part, it's red and blue. So then they move a little bit further with the technology. You get your IMAX going, you get your Real D going. That's kind of where we're at now in the marketplace. They use something called polarization. Now you all know about polarization. That's what virtually all sunglasses are made nowadays, but that started in the fishing world, the sportsman world. Basically what polarization does is it reduces glare. How it was used in the outdoor sportsman's worlds, that reduced glare is because, so if you're looking at like a pond, you're looking at a sheet of ice, something like that, there's going to be a lot of scattered light coming off of that from the sun. That light's going to hit the lenses of the glasses, whatever is polarized, and usually sunglasses are polarized in the horizontal direction. That means there's tiny little etched lines going across like this, which create prisms. The light comes through there, the prisms trap all the light but the vertical. They trap just the horizontal light, which is the light that's been proven as the glare light, and it allows you to see your subjects a lot clearer. They also use the same thing on DSLRs. Actually, any SLR camera will have some sort of a polarized lens that you can purchase for it, and it will give you the same effect. It reduces the glare. Now that you have a little bit of a history on what light does and how it refracts off of images and what you see by it, you kind of get into how these work. So these are obviously the IMAX version of the 3D glasses. They're slightly different from the Real D version, but they look approximately the same. The Real D is slightly smaller. We'll get into that. So how these glasses work, how the IMAX technology works, is you have one eye, and I believe it's this eye, is on the horizontal plane, is it's polarized. And on this eye, you have the vertical plane is polarized. And that means that the etching is going this way versus this way. And so you have two projectors on the back of the auditorium projecting an image onto a silver-plated screen. Now, both technologies use a partially silver-plated screen to allow more light to reflect out than a white screen. But anyway, so you have the two projectors projecting the image. They come in. On this side, it will only allow in the horizontal light. On this side, it will only allow in the vertical light. This gives you two different images because the projectors are projecting images in one in the horizontal polarity and the other in the vertical polarity. So it allows them to be able to control which image you see with which eye. They can actually switch the two polarities around, and the image will actually kind of flip a little bit. I don't know if that would distort the image at all, if it'll mirror it. I wouldn't think so. It might mirror the effect differently. So instead of the effect coming like this or coming at you, it would go behind you, or it would sink back into the screen a little bit. Not really sure how that works. Brings me to my next point about 3D, or about IMAX, is that IMAX, because of the two projectors and being able to kind of widen out those images just slightly, you're able to get a little bit more of a depth perception out of it. So filmmakers can do that gimmick where they reach out an arm and literally touch your nose. Real D has a little bit of drawbacks from that. It's a little bit more cost effective though, which is why most theaters go towards Real D versus IMAX. Real D uses passive 3D technology with a circular polarization. So instead of flat lines going either horizontal or vertical, they have clockwise polarization and anti-clockwise polarization. This works on about the same principle, except for in Real D, they only use a single projector. It's got to be a digital projector, and every theater known to man nowadays usually has that digital projector that is capable of doing 3D. The way that Real D gets around this issue is by using a special lens that they put on top of the projector lamp. What this lens does is this uses a push-pull shutter technology that literally pushes a shutter one way to give you that the clockwise polarization, then pulls it out to give you the counterclockwise rotation. And it does this many, many, many times a second, and this is where you get your frame rates a second. I believe it's 48 frames a second is what it does, but that gets split down to 24 frames a second per eye. Now, normally the Real D is going to be slightly darker than, in contrast, than the IMAX. The reason for this is, one, because Real D only uses one projector lamp instead of the two from the IMAX theater, and the second reason is because that shuttering and your glasses are slightly shaded because of the way the polarization works, and so that diminishes the light you see. So really, all you're seeing coming out of a Real D projector is about 25% of the illumination that you should be seeing, or else you otherwise would be seeing if you were looking at possibly a standard movie. Now, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Okay, so that brings us to recycling. So, we've all seen IMAX where you take your glasses and you put them in the box at the end. That's been standard since we've had 3D in IMAX. Basically, what they do is they have a proprietary dishwasher that is on site, and these glasses get collected at the end of the movie, go into this dishwasher, get cleaned, get repackaged, and they get reissued out. This is different from Real D. When Real D came out in 2005, they had disposable glasses. These disposable glasses, from 2005 to 2008, when they started their recycle program, there was enough glasses laid end to end, you can reach from LA to Greenland, about 4,000 miles. In 2008, I believe it's October is what I read, they started a recycling program. In this recycling program, basically, you'll see those green buckets at the back of the movie theater. You take your glasses, you throw them in the bucket. When the buckets get full, the cinema will ship those buckets to an LA-based facility, and there, which is, I believe that's the Real D factory, kind of, or at least that's their cleaning facility is there. And what they do there is they'll clean them with their own process, whatever it is. I couldn't find that out. They'll check the lenses to make sure that the film that they, or the chemical film that they put on there to create the polarization in the first place is excuse me, talking a lot. They'll check the film to make sure it's still viable, and then they'll also check it on a polarization machine to make sure the polarization is still in the correct plane. And then once they're done that, they repackage them and then resend them out to the cinemas. So, I hope you learned a lot. This video seems to be one of my longer ones, so do apologize for that. If you do like these type of videos, by all means comment, leave a like, leave a subscribe, all that good stuff. And let me know if you want to see future things of this nature. Give me ideas of future topics that you may have that you might be curious of. Be safe, and I'll catch y'all later.